Hi, I hope you are doing well. I hope this work of discomfort is going well for you as well. Not too hard, not too much, not too little. That Goldilocks position. Um, this is a follow-up on the whole idea of death that I've been talking about. It's going to come back again and again with discomfort. Death is one of our biggest discomforts, and it's in everything. And I wanted to talk about grieving and death. So, when someone dies, we tend to grieve them. And our way of grieving that we've created in our world is to have a funeral, a celebration of life, something where we acknowledge the person. If things kind of go the way we work them, we will gather together with others and we'll share stories, we'll share memories, we'll talk about, put up pictures, whatever, and speak about them, our about them, and we create our memories from that, the thing that we want to take from their life, which kind of creates their legacy. But what we don't do is acknowledge that grief exists in all forms of death. And each of us personally goes through many deaths in our lifetime. Death of relationship with others, death of relationship with ourselves, death of ways of being, death of all that we are sometimes, a complete disintegrating and rebuilding of everything we are. And we've been taught to just buck up, get that chin going and get on with life and ignore it. And people don't want to hear your stories of distress and what you went through, that death of a relationship. They'll give you a short term and then they want you to move on because they're either uncomfortable with it or they have no concept of what to do for you. And they just like, be gone, be done. And sure, you don't want to be around somebody wallowing, but there's a difference between wallowing and just trying to work your way through, talk your way through something, figure something out. And what we don't gift ourselves because of all this stuff that gets wrapped up in, the ending of relationships, the ending of these things, these pieces of us, is we don't grieve properly. We don't spend time in grief. It becomes uncomfortable because we're told that's, very it's it's wallowing. We're just being self-indulgent. We're not getting on with the process of living. But with everything in life, in order to live, you must experience the death. And you must extrapolate from that death something that's important. When we had my sister's celebration of life, I asked everybody to share their stories, but also not pretend that her life was perfect, because in that pretending of this perfection of life, there's a diminishing of our experience of it. For me, it's hard won lessons, and I want that all to be part of my life. I don't want to whitewash it and pretend that my life was perfect. It wasn't. And Hammond, I made it through a lot of things, and I am grateful for that. And I am empowered by it. And I'm hoping that those lessons have offered me something to gift others as well as they move through life. So why would I want people to pretend that that wasn't part of me? My life hasn't been perfect in any way, shape, or form, whether it's the things that have happened to me and occurred in my life or the choices I've made. None of it is perfect, but all of it, because I've decided to look at it and grieve certain parts, has become a part of who I am. And I'm actually really appreciative of who I have become. So when I asked everyone to do this, nobody really wanted to. Nobody wanted to do that. They wanted to talk about, no, everything was perfect. She did everything perfectly. And that's their choice, absolutely. But unfortunately, it doesn't leave a big, beautiful mosaic picture of my sister's life. It didn't leave that legacy for her daughter. Instead, it left a very narrow view. And when everything is perfect, how does anyone else have anything that they can grow their life upon? So when I talk about death of parts of you, that discomfort of being with death, see if you can be in that discomfort of those moments, even if they long past. Maybe you go back and look at some of them and then spend some time grieving those parts. And then maybe journal, or maybe it's just an internal experience. Go through and see what those deaths, those moments of grief have offered you in learning. In the messiness of all of it, what is the gift that you have received from yourself for yourself? What are the parts you can see? Like, really look at these things, be uncomfortable with looking at it, and see what it is that's actually been gifted that you can take forward, take as nourishment for your being, take as this beautiful learning, like a library of amazing books that you can take and go, right, I need this information. That was this novel, this part of my life, this chapter, and use it going forward. Use it as the food of your life, but grieve. Hold a celebration of life. Hold that celebration for that part, that piece, that you that existed in that. You have been every age you ever will be, and they all exist. Grieve for each of them if they've moved on. Find all the things, messy or beautiful, and then write them down. Celebrate and grieve and send love and tell them how much you miss them, because some part of those pieces of you really served a purpose, whether it was relationship, whether it was an old story, whether it was something that happened in your childhood, whatever it is, it held something that cared for you that is no longer necessary. And when you actually face it and say, thank you so much. And I'm so sorry you're not here, but I also know that I take that forward, only what's necessary, all that's necessary, with love and gratitude. Maybe you write it down, burn it off, but do it, grieve, get it out of you. Stop holding everything in. Stop pretending you never existed before now, or stop existing in that past space, or trying to exist in a future space that doesn't yet exist, so that you don't have to be with all this. Let it out, let it be free, so you have space to just be. I hope it's a beautiful ceremony, a beautiful celebration of life you hold. I'd love to hear if you actually do hold some form of ceremony. And just remember how amazing you are. Remember that just because you've endured a lot, it doesn't have to be what life is. You're just going to use and take forward what's needed. When you're ready to do deeper work, please get hold of me and we can work together. Whether as part of the group I will be starting, or on your own if you'd rather just really focus on your space, your time, or just do some of this. I think I'm giving you enough in these videos, as I sort of pull it up for myself as well, that you should be able to take some of these just as little pieces of work along the way. Take care.